Hi everyone, this is a solution video for question number 42, section C, practice paper for end of year exam 2019, primary 4. Okay, this question, let's do our usual and strategy of read, annotate, choose and evaluate. Let's read the question. Carol took a quiz with 30 questions. For every correct answer, she was awarded 3 points. For every wrong answer, 2 points were deducted. If Carol scored 25 points for the quiz, how many questions did Carol answer correctly? Okay, it does sound a little difficult. Let's read it again, this comes around with my annotations. So there's the quiz, a total of 30 questions. Okay, so there's a quiz with 30 questions, so that's how I understood it, as all of the questions total is 30 questions. Okay, and then for every correct answer in green, I'm going to do that. For every correct answer, she's get 3 points. For every wrong answer, is 2 points were deducted. So in other words, if I were to write my annotation here, if she got correct, that's plus 3 points. That's a score of plus 3. If she got it wrong, it's a score of minus 2 points. And ultimately, she's got 25 points for the quiz. So her score was 25 points. Okay, so in the end, the question says, how many questions did Carol answer correctly? Okay, so if you look at this question and you consider the information that's given to you, annotations, you ask yourself, okay, you have 30 questions in total. Do you know how many correct answers are there? No, so this was the question mark. Do you know how many wrong answers? Also no, but you've got the score. So it just seems like, okay, you have 2 key information that are missing. So when you think about how to go about solving this, you'll be like, okay, can I draw a model? Then where do I start? If I draw unitary, does it mean that every question I draw 3? But then there's a possibility that it is a minus mark. So how do I draw a model for minus? So questions like that, you got to ask yourself, then what is the better method to solve this question? Okay, so actually when it comes to a question that has many information that is missing, one of the best methods to solve is guess and check. So guess and check is one of the problem solving methods that is useful for many questions. As long as you are unsure, you're stuck, you don't know what to do, you can go with guessing and then checking. However, the problem with guess and check is that you got to know where to start guessing from. If you're going to do guessing from 0 and then go one by one, like there are 30 questions, you go 0 questions and then one by one, it will take a long time. So one of the important point about guess and check is that you need to make a smart guess, a meaningful guess. So how do you determine what's a meaningful and smart guess? We'll get into that later. Before making guesses, you need to know how do I present my guess. So in this case, I'm going to show it to you. I have using my pen. So in this case, I have correct answers, so I put correct. Correct means I have plus points. Okay, so I'm going to draw a table for this. Okay, so one column for this is the number of questions that I got correct, and then that's the plus points. So if I got correct, is every question I got correct, I get 3 points. Okay, then I have questions that I answer wrongly, that's the wrong points, then I have to deduct points for it. So I have the minus points. Okay, so I deduct points for if I answer wrongly. Okay, and then after that I will have to tabulate my score. So the score, ultimately I should hit 25 points. That's the score. and I have, let me just try to draw it straighter. Okay, I have a score, and then I have a check column. So that's what it means by guessing and check. Check, that means is either check correct guess or not correct guess. So this is a table, and every row of guess is a guess. Okay, so let's go about it. So the key point will be when I look at these two columns, okay, it should add up to 30 questions. Okay, and the score should hit 25. So now let's move on to how to make a smart guess. So one of the common guesses is either I start with I got none correct or I got all correct. Now in this case it can't be all wrong, because if all wrong is minus, or minus marks is all negative. Okay, so you got a minus 60 points, that's not correct. So let's say if I start off with all questions I got it correct, that means the number of questions I got wrong is 0. So the points that I deduct is 0. So positive points, that means I plus marks. So I have 30 questions I got right. Then each question is worth 3 points, so I've got 30 points. So score is 30, score will be 90 minus 0, so the score is 90, which is not correct for the first guess. But you can take a look at the actual score, it will be 25. So you know, okay, roughly how far away are you from the answer. Okay, so the first guess, so my first guess is usually all or nothing, okay. And then the second guess will be probably a halfway guess, maybe half-half. I call it half-half. So let's say if I got 15 correct and 15 wrong. So in other words, 15 correct, each question is worth 3 points, so 15 times 3 is 45. Okay, and then 15 wrong, so 15 times 2, that's 30 points. So I have to do a score of 45 minus 30, that will give me 15. So 15 is also not correct, but you can see 15 and 25. So you see the score is lower than the actual score. That means actually I have more questions I get right. Right? Okay, so then I will move from 15 and then upwards. Okay, so let's say I go just try 1 point. So 16 questions and then I got 14 wrong. That's my next guess. So this method here is check, guess and check. Okay, so I've got 16 times 3, 48, 14 times 2, 28, 48 minus 28. Okay, very close, 20. And that's still not correct. So 25. So getting closer and closer. So we realize that 15, 20, probably I will go with 17 then. 17 times 3, I get 51. Then you have 13 questions that are wrong. 13 times 2, 26. So 51 minus 26, that gives me 25. There you go. You got the right answer here. So 25 points. So that's the correct one. So let me highlight this. So here I make one final guess, and that's correct. And the answer requests you to provide how many questions there are right. So this is the final 1 mark for making a good, at least a one combination that was correct, involving, like I said just now, the total questions being correct. And then 1 mark for making sure you get to the correct combination, and final 1 mark goes to the correct answer. So in the end you have the number of questions that Carol answered correctly, 17 questions. Okay, so this method is called guess and check. Here I'm drawing a table to list down a few guesses. Okay, now there are alternative methods to this, called maybe, for example, assumption method or listing. The idea is that you don't have the how many questions that you got right and how many questions you got wrong. So it will go with, I have to have be making guesses. So ultimately, this will probably be the best method to solve a question like that. So because you are able to make quite meaningful guesses from the information that's provided. Okay, so this quick question 42, Essay 2, paper 2019, primary 4.